Success is not about talking, it's about doing. In a world where people love to share their goals, their dreams, their next big move, the truth is this: the more you talk about what you're going to do, the less likely you are to actually do it. There's a power in silence, a strength in keeping your plans to yourself and letting your results speak instead. If you want to win in life, stop telling everyone what you're working on and start showing them when it's done. The moment you announce your plans, you invite opinions, doubts, and distractions. People will project their fears onto you, questioning whether you have what it takes. They will say things like, "That's risky," or "Are you sure?" or "Maybe you should have a backup plan." And if you're not careful, those doubts will creep into your mind and make you hesitate. But when you keep your plans private, you protect them. You give yourself the space to build without interference, to grow without unnecessary resistance. Think of the most successful people you know. They don't broadcast their every move. They work in silence behind closed doors, perfecting their craft, executing their strategy. And when they finally step into the spotlight, the world is left wondering, how did they do that? That's the power of discipline. That's the power of action over words. The truth is, the more you talk about your plans, the more you expose yourself to criticism. It's a paradox. People believe that announcing their goals somehow guarantees success, but in reality, it can be a significant obstacle. Talking about your goals creates an illusion of progress. When you tell someone, "I'm going to start a business," or "I'm going to lose weight," your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical that rewards you for accomplishing something. But here's the problem. Your brain thinks you've already made progress just by talking about it. And because you feel good about it, you lose the urgency to actually put in the work. You feel accomplished without having accomplished anything. That's the danger of verbalizing your plans. It tricks your mind into thinking you've already succeeded, when in fact, the work has yet to begin. It's easy to get caught in the trap of talking. In our world today, we constantly seek validation from others. We want people to recognize our ambitions, to praise us for our intentions, but that praise is fleeting. It doesn't contribute to the progress you need, and worse, it can make you complacent, thinking you've already achieved something because you've received a compliment or a like. But the truth is, no one truly cares about your dreams until they see you make them a reality. And even then, some might still doubt you. There will always be critics. Stop announcing your intentions and start proving them through action. There is nothing more powerful than quiet, focused work. When you keep your goals to yourself, you eliminate outside pressure. You eliminate unnecessary expectations. You create an environment where you are free to experiment, to fail, to learn, and to grow without the fear of judgment. In silence, there is freedom. You are not distracted by the opinions of others, and you can operate from a place of clarity and self-assurance. There's another reason why you should move in silence. Not everyone wants to see you win. Some people will pretend to support you, while secretly hoping you fail. Others will try to discourage you because your ambition reminds them of what they are not doing. Your success forces them to confront their own excuses. It's uncomfortable. So, they'll downplay your dreams, mock your ideas, or try to convince you it's impossible. Not because they don't believe in you, but because they don't believe in themselves. You don't need validation from people who are unsure of themselves. Those who mock you or question your plans are often doing so out of their own insecurities. The truth is, they don't want to see you succeed, because your success reflects poorly on their own lack of action. Don't waste your energy proving yourself to people who don't matter. You don't need validation. You don't need approval. The only thing you need is an unshakable belief in yourself and the discipline to execute. Your work will speak for itself. And when it does, those same people who doubted you will suddenly act like they always believed in you. The moment you make it, everyone will be there to claim they knew you could do it all along. But remember, they weren't there when you were quietly grinding, when you were working without recognition, when your dream was just a whisper in your own mind. Remember, results are undeniable. No one can argue with success. When you step into the room and people see what you've built, when they see the business thriving, the transformation complete, the goal accomplished, they won't need an explanation. Your success will say everything that needs to be said. When you've done the work and reached your goal, There is no need to explain yourself. The evidence of your hard work will be clear for all to see. It won't matter what they thought or said along the way, because your achievements will speak louder than their doubts ever could. Instead of talking about your dreams, wake up every day and take action toward them. Instead of telling the world what you're going to do, disappear for a while and do it. When you emerge, let them be amazed at what you've created. Don't feel the need to broadcast your every move. The world doesn't need to know about your plans before they've been realized. Instead, let your actions speak for you. Let your results be the loudest statement you can make. Actions carry far more weight than words ever will. Move in silence. Work in the dark. And when the time is right, shine so brightly that the world has no choice but to take notice. But remember, this doesn't mean isolating yourself or working in secrecy for the sake of it. It means choosing where to direct your energy and understanding that success doesn't require public approval in the early stages. The greatest achievements in history weren't talked about in the beginning. They were worked on in private, in the trenches, in the hours when no one was watching. The authors who wrote bestsellers didn't spend their time telling everyone they were writing a book. They sat down and wrote. The athletes who broke records didn't talk about how they were going to be great. They trained. The inventors who changed the world didn't announce every experiment. They tested, failed, learned, and built in silence until the world couldn't ignore them anymore. Silence isn't weakness. It's focus. It's discipline. It's the mindset of someone who understands that success isn't about getting applause at the start. It's about creating something so undeniable that no one can ignore it at the finish line. When you work in silence, you're not looking for temporary applause. You're focused on building something that stands the test of time. You're playing the long game, and you know that the end result will speak louder than any applause ever could. And here's the truth. The more time you spend talking about what you're going to do, the less time you have to actually do it. Every moment spent explaining your vision to people who don't share your drive is a moment taken away from making that vision real. You have limited energy each day. Use it wisely. Invest it in action, not conversation. Your time is your most precious resource, and once it's gone, you can't get it back. So why waste it talking about what you're going to do when you could be doing it? The more time you spend in conversation, the less time you have to work. And the more time you waste on talking, the longer it will take to see the results you want. You might feel the urge to share your goals because it gives you a temporary high, a feeling of validation. But resist that temptation. Remind yourself that every great achievement is built in the unseen hours. Let your work be your voice. Let your results be your announcement. The true test of your ambition is not in how loudly you talk about it, but in how deeply you work for it. Success comes when you put in the work when no one is watching. It's in the quiet hours, the late nights, the early mornings, the moments when the world is asleep and you're still pushing forward. Success isn't about being loud. It's about being undeniable. It's about creating something so impactful that no one can ignore it. So disappear for a while, work in silence, improve every day, stay consistent. When you re-emerge, let your success do all the talking. And when you finally step into the light, let the results of your quiet labor speak for themselves. Let the world be stunned at what you've accomplished. Let them wonder how you did it, because your work will show them. And when you've reached your goal, you won't need to explain a thing. Your success will say everything.
Don't forget to subscribe for daily motivational content.